first drive. Or no, we came out and got in the red zone on the first drive, and another missed opportunity. No points on the board, another turnover on downs. And then 4 minutes, 5 seconds left in the third. Stevie Thomas with a big interception, an odd carom off the back leg. Stevie kind of held on to it and got the ball back. Bearcats turned it over on downs yet again as we went into the fourth quarter. And it was at the Abingdon 38-yard line after quite a drive. Bearcats got another defensive stop. That's really been the theme of the night. The Bearcat defense was able to really buckle down. Jamie Lathrop on a second down play hit Torian Bazell on the run from 18 yards out for the touchdown. 14-6 after the extra point was missed by Colton Ratcliffe. That was with 3:25 to go. The Cats had all 3 timeouts. The defense had to step up, and what they do, they did it. They got a stop, got a 3-and-out, forced a punt, and then the Cats had the ball with less than 2 minutes to go, tried to hit a deep pass down the field, and it was intercepted by River Carter. And then from there, Abingdon had the football and got a very controversial first down in the process. Of course, it may not have mattered, but it was just the process of the call, I think, that was of issue. And we have some interesting scores to get to whenever we get around to that one, as Travis is updating those regional scores for you around the Southwest District and around Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia. So we hope you stay tuned for that. But it went on to be a 14-6 final in favor of the Abingdon High School Falcons tonight here at Gene Malcolm. Again, they moved to 5-2. Virginia High falls to 3-3. So you can't be all that mad about the performance, especially the way the defense played if you're the Cats, but you're still looking at that offense saying, what is going on that side of the football?
Yeah, dating back again to that game last week, just all these trips down into the red zone, not able to capitalize when you get there. And tonight it really cost us a chance at a big win, try to get back on the winning side of the game, winning side of the ball. Didn't happen, but, still got to be pleased with the way this team played, especially defensively. Abingdon's no slouch. Gave them a heck of a ball game, and we're in it right till the very end.
And to be down 14-0 and to keep them shut out the rest of the way. The defense buckled down and did what they had to do. The offense just ran out of time, really. We were clicking early, just couldn't cap it off. And, it's going to be a tough one. This might be the toughest loss. Well, I will go ahead and say this is the toughest loss of the year for the Bearcats, because last week wasn't really all that tough. It was just kind of we didn't really show up. And then maybe Tennessee, but you never really expect that one to go, historically. It's been a tough game to win, but tonight it felt like we had a real opportunity against this Falcon team, and they played well enough and got out of here with a win, and credit to Coach Ambergy to be able to survive this one. It was really sort of a survival game for Abingdon when he got down to it and all the stops that they were able to make. So with that, let's go ahead and go to the regional scoreboard update. I think Travis has most. Do you have them all?
Yeah, I think it looks like we got most everything on the board. Fourth quarter, Richlands up 27-0 on Tazewell. Here's an interesting game. Marion at 1 point leading Gate City 24-0. Your score with under 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter is now Gate City 40, Marion 36. So Gate City erasing a 24-point deficit, coming back and take the lead. Going to try to hang on and pick up their first win in quite some time. Lebanon loses to Graham 50-13. John Battle defeats Wise Central 20-0. Patrick Henry was in a dogfight with Holston there for a while. They had to tack on a late score to open it up. Patrick Henry 22, Holston 8, that game final. J.I. Burton and Honaker, they're locked in a tight battle, 30-26. Burton leads that game, 30-26. That game just halfway through the third quarter, so it's lagging behind a little bit. Union wins 42-7 over Lehigh, and our friends across state line, Tennessee High, they lead Cotton County 34-22, start of the third quarter.
So that game a little later because, of course, kickoff not until 7:30 on the Tennessee side. And we're working towards getting everything finalized for tonight's show. We'll have our Food City Player of the Game, the Eastman Credit Union Player of the Game, Food City Play of the Game, and then we'll talk a little bit about that Graham game coming up next. We'll have the stats to you after this commercial break as well. 14-6 the final in favor of Abingdon. Let's take one more break here on the Sesco Group Insurance post-game show.
Titans go!
When the Teen Titans go to the movies, they know the best way to travel is safely.
Hollywood, here we come!
Road trip! And you know it's super.
To keep your child safe, be sure to use the right car seat for their age and size.
Exactly.
I know you're feeling We're finally on the big screen.
Have a seat, my dude.
For more information on finding the right seat, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Gotcha. That's a wise move.
It's an upgrade.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Bearcat Radio is brought to you by State Line Motors. Visit State Line Motors on Euclid Avenue in Bristol.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And Shelter Pets makes super pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a Shelter Pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org. This message has been brought to you by the Humane Society of the United States, Maddie's Fund, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Sesco Group Insurance post-game report from Gene Malcolm. 14-6, the Cats fall to Abingdon High School tonight. And Abingdon gets back to their winning ways, gets revenge from last year's victory by last year's loss to the Cats over at Abingdon. And now Virginia High 12-12 at home against Abingdon all time. So that evens up the series here at Gene Malcolm. And that sort of keeps this streak going. Virginia High hasn't beaten Abingdon here since 2012. So it's been a while since we've knocked off Abingdon here. Had a couple of chances here tonight and it ended up being a barn burner. And it's time now to award our Eastman Credit Union Player of the Game. Tonight's difference maker was Stevie Thomas. 103 yards, 14 carries. That's 7.3 yards per carry for the freshman. And remember that you can experience the credit union difference by opening an account today at www.ecu.org. And Travis, what about the freshman?
Tell you what, we've been seeing him get better every week. And tonight, had a bit of he just keeps expanding on that. We had kind of that coming out party over at Tennessee High a few weeks back. He's gotten more carries every week. Balanced at one point, I think him and Rose each had 14 carries apiece. So coaching staff doing a good job mixing that up, and he's a real weapon for this Bearcat offense to go along with Aaron Rose back there. And he's going to be a bright spot for Virginia High in years to come.
So now I guess we'll go to our Food City play of the game. Not a game where we had a whole lot of highlight plays, but what would you consider the Food City play of the game?
Well, the only really bright spot, I guess, I don't know. There's several offensive bright spots for.
But I guess you got to go with the scoring play.
Yeah, probably the touchdown.
Lathrop to Bazell for 18 yards.
In the corner of the end zone, nice little float pass there. Bazell covered in tight coverage. He's able to catch the ball and reel it in. I believe, that's definitely our Food City play of the game. Value every day, Food City. Let's check. We got our totals in here. Kevin Corbett doing our stats for us tonight. Got everything worked up for us right before he takes us out to dinner at Drake's. For Abingdon, they rushed the ball 42 times tonight for 138 yards. Quarterback Lucas, Lucas ran the ball 23 times for 73 yards. Abingdon passing 6 of 12 through the air for 49 yards. That's an interesting stat. Only 187 yards of total offense for Abingdon. Like I said, just at about 20 snaps there in the second half.
126 in the first half.
All right, So the defense really shut them down. Again, missed opportunities. Virginia High, they rushed the ball 40 times for 143 yards. As we mentioned, our Eastman Credit Union player of the game, Stevie Thomas, 14 carries for 103 yards, 7.3 yards per carry. Jamie Lathrop, 9 of 19 through the air for 102 yards passing, 245 total yards tonight for the Bearcats. So Bearcats dominate across the scoreboard or across the statistic board, but on the losing end on the scoreboard.
14-6, the final in favor of the Abingdon Falcons. Let's talk about this next game for a second. Got Graham rolling in. They're going to be, 5-1 coming into this game, the next game. 42nd meeting it will be. And coverage will begin at 6:30 on Thursday. Remember, next Thursday. Kickoff at 7 o'clock on Spreaker.com/Bearcat Radio. Also, if you didn't get to listen to the Bearcat Sports Chat from Wednesday, of course, you can go back and replay any show, but you can go back and listen to that one. We talked to Coach Sidden or Coach Mabe, the linebackers coach for the Cats. Had some good conversations with those two guys. Then we also talked with Austin Davidson, post-surgery Austin Davidson. And then We talked with Cooper Gobble. Of course, just a snippet of that interview was played at halftime during tonight's game. So 14-6 the final here, but Graham, that's going to be a fun one. The G-men rolling into the Gene, and you got to think if the Cats play as well defensively and as sound defensively tonight, that maybe might have a fighter's chance.
I think so, yeah. Marion, get this, Marion has come back and scored. They score in just a little under 40 seconds to go back ahead, 44-39 on Gate City.
So they got the ball with, under 2 minutes?
Right, yeah, with like a minute 20 remaining. Still 38 seconds to go in that ball game. Gate City will get the ball back, but it looks like Gate City may drop another one.
I believe that wraps us up from here, though. Thank you for giving us that last update. If you want to keep up with that game and you have Twitter, go to Blue Devils Live on Twitter there. Also, make sure you visit our friends at CoalfieldSports.com. We didn't get to plug those guys any tonight. They will keep you up to date. All 46 teams around. If you can't get enough Southwest Virginia football, visit CoalfieldSports.com. And it's always a good place to go because you can find all the links to all the radio broadcasts and the forum where you can argue with everybody about why your team's better than everyone else's. But tonight, Abingdon just a little bit better than the Cats. 14-6, they get the victory and head into their bye week. Cats, it only gets rougher from here. You got Graham rolling in next week. Luckily, it's at home. As we thank you for listening to tonight's coverage from the 87th edition of Bearcats versus Falcons. It was a fun one here tonight, I believe. We can all agree on that one. Thanks to Kevin Corbett and Travis DeBus for joining me. We'll see you on Thursday, October 11th, as Virginia High takes on the G-men of Graham, and it'll be a battle of two undefeated Southwest District teams. Again, this is Dylan Hutton along with Travis DeBus and Kevin Corbett saying good night from Bristol.
You're listening to the best high school football in the Tri-Cities.